Welcome to a Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is a Clash of Kings for the last time.
Whoa!
Chapters 68 and 69. Jon and Bran. In these chapters,
Jon pulls a hot pie, and Harmit was right about Bran! Harmit was right about Bran. Also, Harmit needs to stop believing Nav, is the consensus I have gotten to after reading these chapters. I need to just stick to my guns, because you're always like, you always, whenever I'm right, you always like trap me out of it.
I always doubt you, like create doubt no matter whether you're right or wrong.
I know.
I always question it. That's literally my role in this, is to question it.
Yeah, but you questioned it a little too hard for something that's right.
Okay. So anyways, welcome to the podcast, everyone. We are a little spirited today because both of us believe that we are right and the other is wrong. So
as per usual.
Just very strong-willed people here, okay? Okay. I remember you saying, "Oh, they're maybe in the crypts," and then like I questioned it minorly, and then you like really weird off it, and you were like, "Oh, they're going to the wall, to the crow or some shit." Like,
but but the thing is that happened multiple times. So the fact that I get, then I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just I don't know what I'm doing. But then every time I would keep bringing it up, and that would keep happening. So I feel like
right. In fact, people commented that they were like, "Oh, Harmit almost got it, but then totally went off the other direction."
But I still got it because I still no. I think
all right. I'll give it to you.
Okay,
you got it. 75%.
Fine, because I think if that had happened once, I understand you being like, okay, that was like a throwaway prediction. You can't claim credit. But because I did it multiple times, clearly I actually thought it. That's what I think.
Okay. But whenever I ask you what's your final prediction, you always give me the wrong one.
Because I get scared because the thing is I want to have at least said them once. So then I just keep changing my mind, but I need to just stick to my guns.
All right. So Harmit, who dies in these chapters?
Oh my god, stop. Corin. I don't think anyone... Oh, well, those people that... The other rangers, like the 5 rangers, the other 3 died as well.
Well, Maester Lewin for real this time.
Yeah, well, I'm still on Jon's chapter.
Oh, okay,
So
sorry.
in Jon's, the 3 rangers that I don't remember the names of, I know they were mentioned, and then Corin. Oh yeah, one of them was like the Ebbs or something.
Ebbs. Eben?
Yes.
The Ebbs. What is he, a rapper?
I don't know. Okay, so there was those 4 people in Jon's chapter, and then in Bran's chapter, I mean, we got confirmation that all of Winterfell was in fact burned.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the people who were there, and all the horses, and all of that, and then in terms of named characters, like Maester Lewin, and then probably like Old Nan, and like all those people too.
Yeah.
But in terms of confirmation, like Lewin died in front of us, so we know that. And then, I don't remember if there was anyone else, but...
I think the other named person that people were like, "Oh, that's Poxy Tim, and that's Black..." What was his name? The, like, Theon's right-hand dude?
Oh, yeah, the...
Black Lauren? Something
Yeah,
Lauren? I don't know. It's like all the names are the same.
Pretty much. Like, when they're in the crypts and Bran's like... Oh yeah, this is this person's script, this is this person's script.
Yeah.
I'm like, get a name. I think I said that before. That was a thing I used to say, right? Like, get a name, back in like the first book.
Because like everybody has the same name.
Yeah.
What did you think about Theon Stark?
No!
Right?
I was like, what? Yeah, no, that was trippy.
It's like, it's so sad because like Theon's always like wanted to be a Stark, but then like there's this other Theon Stark that's just like been there all this time. And now that Theon's dead, it's like come into the surface, you know?
I mean, we didn't get confirmation that Theon's dead, but, like, Theon's dead. I mean, Theon's horse was there. I'm assuming
Right.
Theon's there somewhere.
Well, they come across a lot of corpses that are like, oh, that one's smushed too bad to really know.
That's true. Like, I'm sure Theon's in there, but technically we don't know.
Okay, so last week you were like pretty sure that he is, so are you changing your mind?
No. I'm still no.
Okay,
Stop.
what is your
I'm not gonna change
final
my mind.
prediction?
My final is that there's prediction. Okay, there's my prediction where I'm like, this is my prediction, and then I'm gonna have like mini speculations where I just doubt myself.
You only get like partway points for mini speculations.
I know, but the prediction I do get points for. So the prediction.
Somebody keep track of this.
Okay, so the prediction is like Theon's dead, you know, but the speculation is, what if he's not? But then it's like, how would he not be dead? But really, I think Theon's dead. I just want to throw that into the world in case he's not.
So every time somebody dies, you're like, they're dead, but like, maybe not.
No. I just, like, when I was reading the chapter, I just had a moment of like, okay, wait, is he dead? And then I was like, okay, he's probably dead.
Okay.
Like, I'm not saying it just, like I did at what, like, I'm not just saying it for the credit. Like, I am like, oh, it's possible, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So those are all the dead people. There's literally hundreds of dead. Like, when the wolves are walking through in Bran's chapter, like, they're walking through Wintertown and, like, Winterfell, and they're just, like, dead body crows, dead body crows. It's so... And then I was thinking back to, like, oh my god, like, it's not just the Winterfell people, because, like, the Boltons burnt down the whole... like, everybody that was there, like, all the 2,000 people that Sir Roderick brought. So that's a lot of people. Can you just imagine, like, a couple thousand corpses just scattered around this place? It's so intense.
That's terrifying. Yeah. Yeah, summary time.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for reminding me.
Watch us skip it accidentally again.
I know what I will skip this time. Next chapters. Okay.
That's true.
Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, John's there, and he's like, oh, we're about to die, this is hopeless, and then, like, he's with Corin, and he's kind of recapping, like, oh, we sent this dude off to go do this dude off to go do this, and now we're alone, our horses are unable to travel anymore, like, we don't have anything, like, we're gonna die, we're lighting fires now, because, you know, we're about to die anyway. And then they, like, go off into the little mountain cave, and then the eagle, and then they catch up to them, and then John yields because Corin had previously told him to yield, but he's, like, not accepting of it, but then Yrette is there.
Yrette?
Who? I don't know. Okay, Bran is, you know, Bran's in the crypts, with, you know, the whole gang, and then they're like, okay, Bran's having that dream, and he's been in it for, like, 3 days, so this is getting intense, he's able to open his third eye, and then he sees Winterfell burnt down and everything, and he's like, okay, it's safe for us to go now, and then Asha goes first, and then they go, and then they open it, but it's really hard to open, so Hodor does it, and then they leave, and then everything's burnt down, and they're like, hey, we're splitting ways, find Luwin.
Well, people did say that they preferred it when you were less...
scattered all over the place.
More scattered, less coherent.
Yeah. It's like, by the time it hits, like, the 25-second mark, I realize that I still have, like, 5 things left to say. So then I just start saying words instead of sentences.
Today, I don't think you said this person's there today at all.
Because I was thinking about it.
But you're gonna mess up our entire, like, beautiful summary that we're gonna create of just, like, everybody being there.
I'm sure there's been times where I haven't said it. Come on.
I don't know. I'm not so sure.
That's funny. It's okay. We'll see the character development.
All right. You being the character.
Yes, I am also a character.
Okay, then. Let's get into it. John. Oh, yeah. John is like, okay, the end is here. And I'm like, yes, the end is here because the book's ending. Okay. By the way, at what point did you figure out that these were the last 2 chapters?
Oh, well, okay. You're probably not going to approve of me doing this, but I need to do this. Okay, so, because before we read, like, I need to know how much time I need for the chapters. So I always, like, I'm like, okay, first chapter's 12 pages, second chapter's 12 pages. And when I, you know, figured out that the second, like, when I looked at the second chapter and it was 12 pages, the appendix was right there. So I was like, oh, these are the last chapters.
I don't like that. I don't like it.
I don't care. I need to know how much time I need.
You need to ask me how much time you need.
No!
I'll give you page numbers.
Can you tell me how many pages each chapter is?
Yes, I can.
But that's so much extra work.
No, it's not. I just look at the page number and I tell you.
Okay, fine.
Otherwise, imagine you like turn last Bran's thing and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see what's next. And then it's nothing. I want to see that reaction.
I'm sure by, like, Bran's chapter, I would have figured out, like, oh, okay, we only have, like, barely any pages. Because I can see the little thing for the appendix sticking out, so.
Maybe next time I won't mark the appendix for you.
Well, then how am I going to get to the appendix? Do you want me to spoil myself getting to the appendix?
You're not going to get to that appendix. You can refer to this one right here. You have 2 other books full of appendices.
Those books are put away. I don't want to have to keep all of them out.
I will print out the appendix for you on a separate book.
Good.
Okay, more things for me to do.
Yeah, you do realize you're just creating jobs for yourself.
It's okay. Anything to keep you unspoiled. Except for when I am tired and spoil things.
What was it, John Cunningham? Cottingham or something?
That was definitely not it, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Right. So John is nearing his end and he is reflecting on death and he's like, oh, I hope Ghost howls for me when I die like Bran's wolf did. And I found this interesting because he's like, oh, will Shaggy Dog and Grey Wind and Nymeria howl as well? And this made me be like, wait, does he know that Lady's dead? Because I think not like officially, but he did have that dream where he was like his first kind of wolf dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Ghost is reflecting on how like these people are far away and this person's there, but then that one is dead, or like there used to be 5 but now there's 4 or something along those lines.
That's true, yeah. When was that? Because even in this chapter when they were like, you're a warg, I was like, since when?
You forgot.
When was this?
What? Oh my god.
We don't see him for so long.
It was like one of the last times we saw John where he was like, he slipped into a wolf dream and he saw Bran, like his brother spoke to him through a tree, and like even Bran thinks about that in his chapter this time around. And he's thinking about his siblings, and then also and then Ghost like goes to the, what is it, like to where the wildlings are at, and they're like digging stuff, and you know, and that's how they know that the wildlings are there.
Oh, that was a while ago, right?
Yes, it was a while ago, but it happened.
Yeah, I have no recollection of this. This is fully gone from my mind.
Wow,
I was like, he's a warg?
you managed to forget all. At the time, you were like, this is so cool.
I do think it's cool. My remembering things is not dependent on how important I think they are. It is really random.
Whatever. Okay. Anywho, moving on. So they are trekking through the mountains, and at this point, it's just him and the half hand, because everybody else, like, there's that dude who stayed behind to hold up the free folk. Then there's Eben, who they sent off like on a horse to be like, go get out of here, like. Mm-hmm. And when he was leaving, he was like, oh, send John, because you know the thing is that they think whoever leaves has a higher chance of survival. So they were like, oh, send John because he's the kid. But Corrin's like, no, he has another job. And like he's been like kind of thinking of the, you know, this whole plan this whole time, because they have been progressively getting into worse and worse situations. And there's this other dude who they send up the mountain. They're like, oh, leave your horse and just climb the mountains. You can do it. And we never hear about him. Like, what's the other guy's name? Eben. They find the wildlings killed him, but with Stone Snake, we never hear about him. So we'll get to that. But that dude's gone, and then it's just Jon and the Half Hand trekking through, and the wildlings are like on their trail, and they're like, every time they spot them, they like sound the horn, and they are getting closer and closer, and the eagle that's been watching them won't leave them alone, and they haven't slept in days. Like, it's been days, and I was just like, oh my god, they to go so many days. Like, if you've ever gone a few days without good night's sleep, which is just how you perpetually live, so I know you know this, but like, it is really hard on you. Like, humans need sleep.
Yeah.
And I just wanted them to be able to just have like a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Like, they've just been sleeping in their saddles, and when they finally end up in that cave behind the waterfall thing, like, they have like half a night's sleep, and even then, when like what's his name? Corin. Oh, they're all the same name, right?
Yeah.
Corin wakes Jon up for the watch. He's like, oh, it's your turn to keep watch. And Jon, like, I would be like, oh my god, just let me sleep. I know, like, they gotta do the thing, but I just really felt it, okay? Sleep is very important to me.
Yeah.
So that's my passionate speech of the day. Yeah, this is like, okay, now we get they sent Stone Snake his way, and Jon's like, oh, there's no way he's gonna survive. Do you think he survived? Do you think we'll ever hear from him again?
Yeah.
You think so, really?
Yeah.
The one lone guy climbing mountains out in the wild north?
Hey, if anyone can do it, he can do it.
All right. They're going along, and just Corin's like, hey, Jon, how sharp's your sword? Like, is your sword sharp, Jon Snow? That's a lot of
Are you selling seashells, Jon Snow?
And like, this is like kind of like a recurring thing, and at the end we get like, oh, he's asking because he needed Jon to kill him, and he wanted it to be as quick as possible, and it really got to me.
No, the ending of book 1 versus the ending of book 2 it's literally like rebirth, like fire, like passion, this whole like,
yeah, this is like the burning down.
And this is the exact opposite with both of these chapters. It's just like,
it's real depressing.
This is not looking great.
Yeah, I think at the end of the last book, we got, like, Robb becoming declared the king of the North, and Daenerys, like, you know, birthing dragons and the whole thing, and it was, like, so cool. But here it's like, oh, everything is burning down, and everybody is dead. Even though, like, most of our main characters are still around, like, you know?
They're all traumatized and, like, emotionally dead, so that counts.
Emotionally dead.
Like, they're
dead on the inside.
Yeah, they're gone.
By the way, how cool was, okay, did you see me tap into my emo with that quote in the last Insta post?
Yes. Oh my god.
I got really into formatting it in a certain way. I was like, okay, this is a poem and I am its creator. Like, I don't know.
That's so funny. Yeah, guys, go check it out at Pop Culture Symposium on Instagram.
Great plug. Okay. So, yeah, everybody's dead inside.
Speaking of the emo, even dreams cannot live up here, he told himself.
Yes. Yeah. And then they're talking, and Corin, I'm gonna do this the whole time today. I can't get this right. The Half Hand, I can say that. The Half Hand tells Jon, he's like, you have a duty to the Night's Watch, and if we're taken, you have to yield and pretend to be on their side and find out what they're up to and aid the Night's Watch in whatever way you can. And Jon's like, but I don't want to do that. And he's like, no, but I command you. Like, these are your orders. And John's like, okay, well, can you at least tell Mormont that you told me to do this and that I'm not really a betrayer? And like the half-hand just like, sure, the next time I see him, I will 100% tell him. Like,
in death.
Yeah. So that's that's a dark moment there. And it's kind of like, John, don't ask him to do that, because like you can see that he's like, you're not both getting out of this situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if he could go back to Mormont, why wouldn't you just go? Like, if that was a possibility,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be here right now, buddy.
It's okay. He's 16. He's a baby.
I'm just a baby.
So they eventually get to the spot where they're like, oh, at this point they've like lit a fire because they're throwing caution to the wind. They're like, we're gonna die anyway, so may as well.
Yeah.
And after a while, they like really build up the fire, and then the half-hand's like, okay, we're actually gonna leave the fire there, and we're gonna leave the way we came. No, we're gonna go back the way we came. Wow, a lot of words. And they like backtrack to this stream that they had passed like a while ago. And they follow the stream to this little waterfall, and behind the waterfall is like a cave, and the half-hand knows of like a passage through the mountain to the other side. So they're hoping that the free folk will think that they're at where the fire's at and then like not follow them here. So they're like, okay, let's get some sleep and we'll see what to do in the morning.
Yep.
So I think John is the first one to fall asleep, and it says he dreamed of burning castles and dead men rising unquiet from their graves. I wonder what that could be.
Oh my god.
And then like it's John's turn to keep the watch, and then eventually they get up in the morning, chew some half-frozen horse meat, and get on their way. And as they get to the other side of the mountain, the eagle is waiting for them, and they have not, in fact, invaded or evaded the wildlings.
Nope.
So once again, Corin asks John, is your sword sharp? Oh my god, it's so hard to say. Is your sword sharp, Jon Snow? Is your sword sharp, Jon Snow? Is your sword sharp, Jon Snow? And at this point they like give their leftover oats to the horses because they're like, oh, they helped us out for like they've been at it like for so long, right? And they're just waiting for the wildlings to show up, and eventually they start pouring over the mountains, and they have them cornered because like, but they're like in a pretty protective place where they can only come up like 2 at a time, so it's kind of a good defensive position, but like how long can they last really?
Yeah.
And John's noting that the free folk have like all these random like bits of armor and like just kind of like a lot of DIY kind of stuff. Like it's not very well made, and it's kind of just scraps that they've scavenged or
stolen.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that. And Corin draws his blade, and I love this part, like the tale of how he had taught himself to fight with his left hand after losing half of his right was part of his legend. It was said that he handled a blade better now than he ever had before. Just kind of like really cool.
Damn, Papa.
Do you think are you at any good with writing with your non-dominant hand?
Writing is okay.
Like, you're not going to be fighting. Like, who are you going to fight?
Yeah. Writing is okay, but like throwing a ball or like...
Even writing, like who writes these days?
No, I write. I'm a grandma. But like writing, it's weird. I can do, but like anything else, you know, like simple tasks you do, like washing dishes or like even simple things, like or like throwing a ball, like I can't do any of that.
Or like, have you ever like held a pan to like pour it somewhere and like it's in your left hand and it just doesn't pour right because it's your hand's just so much weaker?
Yeah, and you can't like angle it because with your right hand you're just so used to getting those angles, but then you don't realize how difficult it is to actually learn
and it would be
that.
harder to feed yourself with your non-dominant hand as well.
Yeah. Oh, I used to... No, you know what? I think the reason I'm good at it for writing is because when I was younger, I tried to make myself ambidextrous.
Yeah, I've like definitely practiced writing with my left hand, but like...
Yeah, but not like a significant amount for it to matter, but just enough that I can like do it with
you know
my
what
hand
we need
shaking.
to really like we need to know how to use a mouse left-handed, like a
oh my god, I've
mouse.
tried doing that. I try doing that because sometimes at work I get lazy and like I fidget a lot, so sometimes I'll sit down, sometimes I'll stand up, sometimes I'll constantly be adjusting my desk length,
right?
And then sometimes like if I'm facing the other way and I'm like filing something and I want to do something, like search something up, I'll try to use my left hand on the mouse because I don't want to like turn around, but it doesn't work because my left hand can't do it.
Yeah, like my brain doesn't compute like the right click, the left click thing. It's just always clicking the wrong buttons.
Yeah, for me it's like I have to manually be like, okay, now move your ring finger, now move your like pointer finger. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's so anyway, we admire Corin for his ability to recover from this injury and like be better at it than he ever was, apparently.
Yep.
So okay, then
Rattleshirt comes up.
Rattleshirt, the leader of this group of free folk.
We have to honor Corin's memory by calling him Rattleshirt from now on.
I mean, he's rattling. Like he says, I'm the Lord of Bones, but like really, like, dude, you're rattling all over the place. Like,
right? So, do they like, is there history here that I'm missing? Because they like know each other and like names and like all that.
Corin is like a well like known ranger, and the Rattleshirt is like a kind of known person of the free folk, you know. So
it was just like a connecting, like, oh yeah, you got a bunch of bones, you must be the bone dude I've heard about.
Maybe they like know each other by reputation because like, you know, it's easy to tell by appearance, but also maybe they've met like at some point, and you know. So
and that would be like, and I guess just because he's such a well-known ranger, that would be like another reason that like he wouldn't be able to do what John's doing, because it's just like there's nobody would believe that.
Know him to be 100% true to the watch, and also that would mean that he would need to kill John to prove his loyalty, and I don't think he's personally willing to do that. He's like, I would rather die than kill you.
Right, but you gotta be able to do it.
Had this whole like life and career, like he talks about how when he was John's age he did this, and like he's like old now, right? Like not old, but much older now, and John's a baby, like we said. So he's been at this for so long.
Yeah, I know. It's just weird to see people like actually give credence to that and be like, oh yeah, you're a child. Like no one in this universe actually understands that.
Yeah. But what I love at one point, I can't remember exactly, is like they're like getting ready to go and Corin's like, let's go, brother. And I like the fact that he called him brother. It was like, oh man. Right?
Yeah. It's like John's finally getting the respect he deserves. It's great.
So they are, like I said, they're surrounded, and then one of the spear wives, they call him, pulls out Eben's head out of a sack to be like, oh, we killed this dude and like we're gonna kill you. And they're just like taunting John and just like throwing around insults, and eventually Rattleshirt's like, feather him, which I was like, wait, feather them? And then he's like, oh, before the arrows could reach us. I'm like, oh, arrows, feathers, right? It was just like a really...
It was a weird threat. It was a weird way to phrase a threat, or like a command to like...
It's like, pillow fight, feather them.
No, that's, yeah. Huh.
Okay, next time. Have we ever had a pillow fight? Anyway, if we have a pillow fight, we're gonna feather them.
Gotcha.
That'll be our, like... starting command.
Yeah, nice.
So as he says this, John's like, no, wait, we yield. This gives Half Hand the chance to be like, oh, I see you, traitor. And like, John's like, okay, I want to join. No, before John doesn't even get to say anything. Rattleshirt's like, oh, I don't want a traitor and a craven on my side. And then Ygritte.
That's her name. What did I say?
Not that. I can't remember.
I said like E something though. It was wrong.
So Ygritte's like, oh no, this dude is the one that let me live. He's the bastard of Winterfell. Let him live. And the Lord of Bones is not a fan of John, and neither is the eagle that has been following them. Because apparently he was a man before you killed him.
That was so cool. This was like the only like good part of these chapters, quite honestly. Like, it was just cool. Like, everything else was just like terrible. I was like, this is it. Like, what? So, okay, so you can go from like, is it, like, okay, the reason he could become an eagle, is it because he was, like, a special human, or can you go from normal human to eagle, or normal human to, like, the white or whatever?
Like, he was a warg, like Bran is.
So then, was he, like, an eagle warg? That's why he can...
Yeah, he was in the eagle, and probably he was still, like, his consciousness was in the eagle, or I don't know how that worked, like, how he, like, why the eagle holds a grudge, like, whether, like, a part of that person is still in the eagle, or, like, what? But John killed a person that was connected to the eagle, and now the eagle's mad.
Okay. Interesting. That's cool.
And so the one of the people chimes up and is like, oh, if he wants to join us, let him prove his, loyalty to us. And Rattleshort's like, yeah, let's see you kill the half hand. And Corin is like, oh, as if you could. Like, he's fake, like, we know it's fake mockery, but, like, he's, like, really laying it. Like, he's so good at it.
I know, and it sucks, because this is the last interaction, and it's like, this is their goodbye.
Well, their last interaction is, like, sharp.
Yeah, but, like, it's like, oh, you fucking traitor, and, like, John's already feeling like, oh, I'm a fucking traitor,
Yeah, this is gonna require a lot of therapy to get over. My mentor asked me to kill him and then insulted me to my face as I killed him.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like, Corin starts attacking John, and John has to defend, and, like, the half-hand's pretty good. Like, John is, like, on the back foot the whole time they're fighting. And John's younger and is fighting with his, like, dominant hand, so, like, you would think he would have all the advantages. And
then Ghost has to help him to get, like, that edge in.
And also, Corin isn't, like, probably giving it his all because he doesn't want to kill John, so
yeah,
he was a really good fighter.
No, right? Like, this isn't even his best, and John still can't do shit. Like, ouch.
Yeah, or maybe John's heart is not in it, so he's not giving it his best either. Either way, Ghost sees this and latches on to Corin's leg, and Corin, like, still keeps fighting. Until John eventually slices, and he doesn't even think that he's touched Corin until, like, blood starts pouring out of his throat, and he looks at the tip of his sword, and it's, like, just the tiniest, like, the half an inch has passed through, but since it's Valyrian steel, like, it did a lot of damage. Like, with a dull sword, it might not even really have done anything.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, poke.
Yeah.
It's pretty sharp.
Yeah, exactly. So John, like, falls to his knees and is, like, seeing Corin die, and Corin, like, says sharp at the end.
Yep.
And then he goes and he dies. And John's like, oh, he knew that they would ask me to kill him. That's why he wanted me to make sure my sword was sharp. And this moment was so sad. He thinks of all of his brothers at the Night's Watch, and he thinks about, like, Bran and Rickon and Robb. And he's like, oh, have I lost my, like, Night's Watch brothers? Like, I lost my other brothers. Who am I? What am I? I'm so sad. This was like a Theon moment, But I was like, why do we have more sympathy for Jon? Oh, right, Jon's a better person. That's why.
That's true. And like, yeah, totally. But like, yeah, because yeah, it just sucks because it's like he's finally fitting in, and I think it's also sadder because like Theon still hadn't found a place where he fit in, but with Jon, it feels like
he had found a place and then lost it again.
Yeah, it really felt like, okay, this could turn into something really good. Like, there were moments where I was like, could he, like, one day become Lord Commander or something? Like, you know, when he had those moments of, like, being a good person and, like, supporting Sam and everything. But, you know, and then it's just, like, all of this has to get stripped away because this is Game of Thrones and not another fantasy happy series.
Right, because a lot of fantasy series are happy series.
I think they try.
This one is definitely less happy than others, but
yeah. Hey, I think
you want a happy series, read Cradle. Like I keep telling you to.
Actually, it's happy?
Yes, it is so happy. It is full of joy. Just read it.
Really?
Somebody read it.
Okay, then I'll read it, because I can't handle another, like...
It is that... Okay, side rant. Everybody, if you ever do one thing because somebody has told you, read Cradle. It is so awesome. It is so full of joy. It makes me so happy. I grin like an idiot to myself all day, every day when I listen to those audiobooks. It is just the best thing packaged into a book series. I can't... Okay, rant over. Read those books. Now it's over.
Okay, interesting.
But it's fantasy and it's happy. Okay. So,
okay.
Jon is sad though.
Yeah.
And I was sad for him.
And what I'm like thinking is like,
Okay.
I'm thinking, how do we beat these people? You know, like, what's going on? And also, why, like, Rattleshirt's like, oh my god, like, I don't trust traitors. And it's like, your leader is literally a traitor. And I'm like, does this point to him not respecting Mance? And is this gonna create a bigger issue later?
Well, I don't think he was saying, like, I don't want a traitor. I think he was saying, I don't want a craven, because the half hand was calling Jon a craven.
Yeah, but isn't that literally, like, okay, wait, no, because I guess because Mance could have just, like, left. Is that what he did? Like, he just left to go be a traitor? In their words? Like, did he, like, how did that come about?
So, Mance Rayder, we learned from the half hand, was actually a wildling. Like, he was born out in the wild. But the Night's Watch took him in, and he served as a brother of the Night's Watch for a while until he was like, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Oh, so like opposite trajectory of Jon. Or
yeah,
Jon's
basically.
Plan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because I don't know why I thought that Mance Rayder was like Jon. So then I was like, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's different then.
Also, I think Rattleshirt's one of those people that likes to be contradictory, you know? Like, everybody's
right.
like, oh, we'll take him. And he's like, no, we won't. Sorry, I don't know why.
No, that was a fun voice.
Okay, so, question. So, Jon found his place with the Night's Watch. If Theon had lived, where do you think he would have found his place?
Ooh. This is a deep question.
Right? Because
Um,
he wanted, like, glory and whatever, right? Like, he wasn't, like, so does Jon, really. Like, if we're talking about it. But
like, Jon's also like, ooh, I respect people.
It would need to be a place that, like, boosted his ego.
Exactly. As well as was like, we love you type vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe, like, I don't know if he's good enough of a fighter for that, but, like, if he were, like, on the King's Guard or something, because that's kind of a brotherhood, right?
Yeah, glory and brotherhood. Yeah, and I feel like it's corrupt enough for him, too. Like, I feel like he wants something corrupted and, like, drama. Like, I feel like he wants drama. So, yeah, right. That's true. I think that would be
He was a good archer, but I don't know, like, if that's a skill people covet in the King's Guard.
Right, that's true. Maybe
if
he created like a
guild of archers.
I was gonna say, yeah, like if that was a thing, and then he could be like and then I'm sure he's very much like the, ooh, I created this type thing. So I'm sure like if there isn't and he created it, and it went on to be this like super successful thing.
Right, but honestly, he's not the kind of person people want to follow, so I don't know if he would
That's
create
true.
it.
But, you know, if he put aside his ego, maybe it could work out.
Okay. Listeners, tell us your thoughts. Where would Theon find his place?
Yeah.
So, Rattleshirt's against it, so is the Eagle, but everybody else is like, oh, just let the kid be, you know?
Yeah.
And they argue for a moment, but eventually Rattleshirt has to yield, and John's like, huh, that's interesting. Like, you know, they are free. Like, this is their leader, but just because he's their leader doesn't mean that what he says goes.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, and I'm like, is Jon gonna like it here? Like, is this another internal conflict for Jon?
Right. Also, if you remember, when Tyrion came upon the Mountain Men, he noticed that they also make decisions where, like, everybody gets a say, and he was like, that's a very inefficient method of making decisions.
That's what he said?
Yeah, he's like, oh,
That's
but if
funny.
you, like, listen to everybody, then you never reach a conclusion, right?
Damn.
So, do you think that's, like, a drawback among these folk as well?
I think it could be, because let's say
But,
in this case
they
there
do
were...
have Mance Rayder as their king, so...
Yeah, so I guess it's, I mean, like, within reason. Like, you can't, with such a big group of people, like, Tyrion has a point, but, like, at the same time, like, just because it's inefficient doesn't mean you shouldn't try to accommodate it at all. But, like, I think in this case, like, in cases like this, where it's, like, a small number of people, it works out well, where it's, like, just this group traveling. But at the same time, like, if they had, like, an even number, and, like, 10 of them were, like, on the, what's his name? Rattleshirt's side, and, like, 10 of them were like, no, it's fine, then I guess, like, then it has to kind of almost come back to the leader, and, like, what does the leader say? Because everyone else is kind of, like, tied or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like there's always pros and cons to all of them. Like, you can't,
Yeah.
like, of course that's a drawback, but that doesn't devalue it at all just because there's a drawback.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll learn more about their system of governance through Jon. So one of Rattleshirt's, like, objections is that Jon's a warg, like you mentioned before. How do they know he's a warg? Like, did the Eagle sense him? Did, like, they see him through Ghost somehow? Like,
I think maybe, like, that Ghost
well,
connection.
the Eagle did attack Ghost, so maybe they knew in that
That's
way
true.
somehow.
I guess it could be either. I hadn't thought of that. Like, it could be, yeah, because I feel like for the Eagle, like, I don't think it's just like, oh, like, the Eagle feels connected to it. Like, I feel like a part of that person probably still is. Like I feel like there's some sort of component. I guess I'm just guessing here, but I feel like with wargs, as long as, like, they were still connected recently, there's some component of, like, this wolf isn't gonna go back to being a wolf. Like that person, like some part of that person is still there and still, like, almost alive and, like, in control.
Yeah.
I think. That's my guess. Like, so I think that
if you were a
person
warg,
is still...
which animal would you want to warg into?
Ooh, okay. What would be,
Wait,
like...
no, hang on. No, don't answer it. This is a good wrap-up question.
Yeah, you keep asking me questions that you should ask in wrap-up.
My brain is just more awake at 1 o'clock, okay, than at 11 p.m.
That's a good point. That's funny.
All of our past, like, few episodes, we recorded them so late that I'm brain dead. Like, I'm dead on the inside, so I can't think.
Funny. Okay.
We'll put a pin in that for later. Yeah, so eventually they agree to let him join, and so Jon has Ygritte whether they'll be returning through the Skirling Pass, because he's like, oh, that place is terrible, I don't want to go back there. But Ygritte's like, oh no, we're gonna go ahead, because Mance should be well down the Milkwater by now, marching on your wall.
What the fuck, bro? Okay, the kingdom is up in flames. The wildlings are coming. Like the Westeros. I don't know, the kingdom, right?
Yeah. Okay, so it is 7 kingdoms. Okay, I thought you meant,
right,
like, Winterfell, but I guess everything else is also going up in flames in like a metaphorical sense.
Yeah, everything's up in flames. And then Winterfell, which was like a good, like, let's go support the wall. Now Winterfell is like not fucking Winterfell. It's just not freaking there. Although, yeah, and then, like, the wall, and then Mance Rayder, and, like, the wall is not well supported, and, like, Mormont's not back at the wall. So the Lord Commander is literally not at the wall.
Yeah.
When we need the leader at the wall.
Well, we don't know where he's at. Like, we last left
like,
them
right,
at the
they
Fist.
could have,
we don't
right,
know
they could have
where
gone
they're
back.
at. Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully they at least got back. Because, like, man, this is terrible. Like, if all the fires about to, what was it? All the fires go out. They had a moment in the chapter where they were like, oh, if this fire can go out. But if the wildlings get past the wall, all the fires in the world will go out. Like, everyone will die and, like, all that.
Oh, yeah.
I was referencing that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
There's a lot of fires going around, okay?
Yeah, I don't even know what to say to you. Like, this isn't good. This is terrible.
Okay, we'll make predictions at the end. Let's talk about Bran. So, Bran is inside Summer, and he is, on the edges of Winterfell, like, Wintertown, really, like, on the edge of the forest there. And he's watching all the shit go down, like, the burning and people screaming, and, like, this is, like, in the middle of the action, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody's dying. And this, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll tell you. Oh, wait, do I want to tell you? Okay, is this also a wrap-up thing?
Oh, okay, yeah, wrap-up thing.
Okay, we'll come back to that. But he's just looking around. There's a lot of smoke and ash and everything. Mm-hmm. And eventually, once everybody leaves, like, and the fires are, like, they die down a bit, and it's the next day kind of thing. The Summer and Shaggy Dog walk through the town, and then they, like, fight over the corpse of a horse and things like that, right? And this is when Bran gets pulled back into the dark place where all men were blind. And he's being woken by Mira because he has been in a warg dream for 3 days. First, I was like, how do they know it's 3 days? Like, it's so dark. How can they really guess? Like,
yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Time would have, like, no meaning in a place like that. And they don't got watches, so.
Yeah.
What is this? Central Standard Time? Okay. My brain went down all the, like, sorts of, like, ways we keep time, which is also arbitrary and just bullshit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes back, and they're down in the crypts, and it smells like death, and also they stink because they haven't bathed in a while. And he's like, oh, it stinks, but I can't tell which one of these people stink that is. Like, it just all stinks.
Yeah, we all.
And so they're bringing him back to himself because he needs to eat, otherwise he's gonna starve. So we kind of learned some of the mechanics. Like, even though he ate as Summer, it doesn't mean that his, like, human body got any nourishment.
Because he's going through Summer's body. Summer's not going through his body. So Summer's body.
Yeah, it's just like a mind transplant, not nothing else gets transported, transplanted, something.
Moved.
Shared. Yeah, the link is a mind link only. And they ask him where he was in his dream. What did he see? He says he saw Winterfell, and, like, his mouth is all dry and he doesn't know how to remember how to talk almost. And he thinks to himself that one day when I come back, I won't know how to talk anymore. Which I hope that doesn't happen.
That's terrifying. Like,
but,
oh my god.
Yeah, Bran's kind of playing a dangerous game here. Like, he's letting himself escape this prison through Summer too much. Like, he's relying too much on that, so much so that he's neglecting his human self. So that's not good. Yeah, he's thinking about how here in the chill, damp darkness of the tomb, his third eye had finally opened, and now he can reach Summer whenever he wanted. And he remembers that he had once even touched Ghost and talked to John. Remember when Bran was in a tree and then he reached out with a branch arm and tapped Ghost in the forehead and opened his third eye, therefore opening John's third eye. Like, the thing that you don't remember but happened definitely happened.
Yes.
So that's cool. I like to think that it's because he's like with all the Starks right now, and like all the Stark juice is in the air, is like,
my God.
you know,
Yeah,
contributing
like
to his like, yeah.
That's true. All the Stark juice.
I don't know, what would you call like the aura in the air from all the dead Starks from ages gone?
Just the Stark vibes.
I would think that, like, didn't we hear stories about how like they were wargs at one point? So like it's possible that other Starks in the past were wargs, and this like Bran is not the first and only one.
Right.
Oh, and okay, they're like, he looks for Osha. He hears for Osha, or smells for Osha, really, because she's like, where's that other piece of stank over there? And she's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It can be morning, night. I've lost track of everything. I just pissed on a king's foot, which like, it was so funny to me, taken out of context, just be like, last night I pissed on a king's foot. Like, this is, I like, you're about to go into a story and like,
yeah. Yeah, and someone's like,
so funny.
Someone's like waiting for you to continue the story, and you're like, no, that's just it.
That was it. Yeah.
They sleep a lot, eat a lot, talk sometimes.
But like not too loudly, because, yeah. But like Hodor always is kind of muttering Hodor, and Rickon is a baby, so can't really keep them too quiet. Yeah. They're all babies.
Yeah.
He tells them that he saw Winterfell burning, and we gotta go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So they eventually light a torch and make their way to the stairs, and this is when they like pass all the Starks, and there's a bunch of Brandons, there's a couple Benjans, there's a Theon, and there's like a lot of Starks.
There's a lot.
And I love like when they're deciding whether they should go up or not. Osha's like, oh, I'll need to go up to steal some food anyway, otherwise we'll be down to eating Hodor. Hodor said, grinning at her. Like, he doesn't understand the context, but it's like, it was so dark.
No, it's funny because it's like he understands like directions, and like they're like, Hodor, go do this, but then,
maybe
like,
he is like, haha, funny, I would eat you before you eat me.
Right,
I don't know,
that's
maybe
true.
it's that,
because then whenever it's because it's like whenever, like, obviously when someone's like when the Freys were being rude to him, he was like, what the fuck, you know, like, yeah. I think he was crying, or I think he was crying.
Yeah, just in distress.
Yeah, like you could tell that he like understood like that they were being annoying, but then with like some of these moments he just like doesn't seem to care, which is like, I'm glad that it's more of like he just doesn't care and less of like he's just not getting it, because I want to see him be like, I don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, or it could just be like, she said his name and he's like, oh, you said my name. Or that's not actually his name. His name's Walder. Do you remember that?
What?
Old Nan told us that, like in book 1.
Oh, because is he like Nan's son or something? Is that what it was?
Like grandson, great-grandson, something along those lines.
Yeah. His name is Walder?
Walder, yeah. Like Walder Frey, kind of Walder.
Yeah, that's messed up.
But it's also like a really common name. But everybody calls him Hodor because it's what he says. And, sorry. Okay, now I'm thinking, okay, old Nan, probably dead. Probably Hodor's, like, is Hodor's grandmother, great-grandmother, somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Hodor doesn't, I don't know if he understands that.
The old Nan's dead?
Yeah, but if he, like, oh, that's so sad. Like, there's, like, a personal connection to their past, just the, hey, we live here and we all know each other kind of thing, right? Okay, sorry. I'm sad now.
Yeah, this was very sad. The last page of this chapter just destroyed me.
This is all sad. So Osha is like, okay, is it day or night out there? And Bran just real quick, like, wargs into summer and looks around and is like, oh yeah, it's day. Like, that was, you know.
Oh my God.
showing off his new skills. And they've stolen a few swords. Osha's got this last sword that Micken forged for Ned's tomb. And Mira took the one that was in front of Lord Rickard's tomb, and then Bran took Bran's. So they've got 3 swords that they stole from the tombs. And Bran's thinking how he's never feared the crypts. They were part of his home and who he was, and he had always known that one day he would lie here too. But if I go up now, will I ever come back down? Like, that was all, like they leave Winterfell at the end. Like, nobody's at Winterfell. Like, everybody's gone. This is upsetting. Are they ever gonna be back?
I don't think so. It doesn't feel like it. So everybody who leaves, like, no one comes back.
And then Rickon is like a baby. Is he gonna remember everyone? Like,
is he gonna live long enough to remember everyone?
But, like, okay, being optimistic, say they, like, meet up 10 years later. Is he even gonna know all his family? Like,
yeah,
he's just gonna be like, Osha, that's my mom, and Shaggy Dog, that's my dad.
Right,
so,
yeah. It's like imprinting, and then the kid just goes from there.
No, we're not talking about imprinting here.
That's literally it. It's like the first person you see when you're a kid, and you're like, this is my mom, this is my dad.
We were talking about wolves. I thought you were making a Twilight reference, and I got real mad.
No. I meant, like, the real imprinting, not the fantasy
science.
Not science imprinting. No. Like, biological imprinting. Okay. Although, like, I'm sure that's not how it works for humans, but it's still a more logical reference than whatever Twilight did.
Okay, so coming back to this sad fest, Osha goes up the stairs and comes back down and is like, the door's stuck, I can't get it open. So they all go up, and Hodor pushes this door open because he's Hodor and strong and can open doors.
Took a lot of effort.
Yes, it's like there's probably like a piece of a building fell on top of the door that he had to push off.
Yep.
And
they're making a lot of noise, like when they're opening the door, and he's like, Hodor! You know, like that's the know, he needs to, like, but it's like, if anyone was there, they're dead. They're dead, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, so I got so close to saying something spoilery. Okay.
That's funny.
So, yeah, they finally get outside, and Winterfell has indeed been burned. And they're right next to the old keep, and he's noticing, like, there's a bunch of gargoyles that have fallen to pieces around him, and he's like, oh, they've fallen right where I fell, and it's a wonder that I'm still alive, because they're in pieces.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a body nearby, but they can't recognize it because it's, like, you know, not in good shape. And Rickon is, like, demanding to be taken home, and it's like, oh, there, you don't have a home anymore. It's just sad.
Yeah. The only, like, living things, there's a dog, there's ravens and crows, then there's Lewin.
Yes, who they don't know about so far. And they're like, we gotta get out of here. Like, you know, other animals and other people will be around soon, so we can't stay here.
Yep.
And they take, like, the morning to look around, and they recognize a few faces, like we said, but they don't ever, like, be like, oh, there's Theon, but they are like, there's Theon's horse, which tells them that it was not Theon who burned this down, it was somebody else. And then they, like, flip over one of, like, the other bodies and find the flayed man of the Dreadfort, and they're like, ooh, the Boltons did this. And finally they end up in the Godswood, which is thankfully in pretty good shape, because, like, the trees are, like, all green and lush and powerful, and they, like, a few of them on the edges burned down, but the fire could not get further in, which I'm so glad for, because, like, it just seems like too important of a place, you know?
Yeah, like the Godswood, like, yeah, obviously Winterfell burning down. That library!
Yeah, it's gone.
Holy shit.
I don't think Ramsay Snow was like, save me the books.
Yeah, man. But yeah, no, like, all of Winterfell, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, like, that's terrible, but the Godswood is like, it just feels like a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even more.
It would just be like extra wrong. So
yeah, like,
it was like the spotlight, like a highlight in this terribleness.
Yeah. And maybe, like, because the Godwood's alive, like, Godswood's alive, like, the Godswood still survive, the exterior is still, like, you know, like they said, like, from the outside, you literally couldn't tell. And because of, like, the crypts and stuff, I'm like, maybe, like, regeneration, is this, like, a thing? Like, maybe Winterfell one day can be Winterfell again.
But I want to make all these points at the end of the chapter. You're making them too soon. So they're in the Godswood, and they find Maester Luwin on his face, like in the ground next to the heart tree, and they think he's dead, but when they like go to touch him or something, he groans, and they're like, oh my god, you're alive. And they sit him up a little bit, and he looks at Brad and Rickon and is like, oh my gosh, you're alive, I knew you were. And he knew they were alive because the boys' bodies that they burned, like the one they passed for Bran, the muscles in his legs didn't fit Bran's current condition, so Maester Luwin knew. Yeah, and he's like, but how are you here? And they explain that they never really left. Like, they went to the edge of the woods and then circled right back and sent the wolves on to like keep another trail, but then they hid in the crypts.
Yeah.
And okay, again, so sad. Tears filled Bran's eyes. When a man was hurt, you took him to the maester, but what could you do when your maester was hurt? Like,
that line was so mean. I was like, this is
George, leave me alone. I just want to be happy. Okay. Yeah. I'm actually tearing up a little bit. It's like, really?
Yeah, no, that line was so well written in the worst way. It was like the perfect, like, this is a child, but this is a child who has to understand so many realities, but still just can't get it because he's a child, you know?
Yeah, and poor Rickon is just like, you can't die. You can't. And Maester Luwin's like, I'm older than you. I can die as I please.
This was rude.
Okay. All right. So then Luwin turns to Osha and gets down to business and is like, okay, you gotta separate these two because they're Rob's heirs and they can't be together because they, like, if one of them dies, then both of them are gonna die if they're together. So she's like, okay, I'll separate them, but where will I take them? And they can't go to, like, anywhere nearby because all those people are dead now. Yeah. And so, yeah, Maester Luwin's like, try White Harbor, or the Umber's like, I don't know, just, like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And he tells Bran to be strong, and Bran's like, oh, I will be, even though he doesn't know. Like, he's 8 years old. Yep. And then eventually he's like, go, and Osha, give me some water and another boon, if you will. And she says, yes, I will. She tells Mira to take the kids, and obviously this is like her, like, you know, killing Luwin so he's not in pain anymore. And that sucks. So they go gather up in the yard, get some food, and eventually say goodbye. And Rickon is clinging to Hodor's leg and sobbing because he doesn't want to go. And this is where I was like, oh, will you even remember Bran by the time if you ever see him again? And Osha has to, like, force him to go, and they leave out, I think, like, the East Gate, and Bran, and I was gonna say Rickon because I'm so used to saying Bran and Rickon, but I can't say that anymore. Bran and Hodor and Mira and Jojen leave out the north gate, and they're not going to Greywater Watch. They're going north. And as they're like disappearing into the woods, Bran looks back and reflects, like, he's like, oh, it's mostly like intact. Like the stone is strong, the roots of the trees go deep, and under the ground the kings of winter sit their thrones. So long as those remained, Winterfell remained. It was not dead, just broken. Like me, he thought, I am not dead either. He's basically saying, Asgard is a people, it's not a place.
Ah, that's true! Oh my god. That last.
But honestly, it is a place. Like, I really want them to return here. Like, it'd be cool if they got together elsewhere. Like, I would be overjoyed.
Yeah.
But, like, I want it to be here.
Yeah. Winterfell. We got that, like... Yeah, it's too iconic to not...
Yeah. Moment of silence. Okay. So, I was thinking, though, like, okay, so... Oh, I feel bad. You remember, like, when Theon was like, who's gonna stay with me? And his, like, 12-year-old squire was, like, the one, I'll stay. Like, he's the first one, and, like, he's probably dead now.
Oh
and, like,
God,
everybody else died because they decided to stay. That's kind of sad, too. I don't know. I felt like I'm thinking about all these kids, and then that was a kid, too. Why do all these kids gotta die, man? I don't like it.
It's like, regardless of their choice, they're all dead.
Yeah. Okay, so, predictions. Let's go back to Jon.
I don't wanna.
It's just so sad. I don't like
enough
it.
heartbreak for the day.
It's okay. We've already been over this, so let's...
Also, I don't understand why you said the appendix was spoilery. Like, we're at the end of the book and I don't get it.
I don't think it was. Not that I don't think it... There were probably, like in Renly's people, it mentioned, like, Brienne, for example, and we hadn't met Brienne, and I wanted you to meet Brienne before you read about Brienne. Like, those kinds of things.
But there were already, like, we had that with the first book, too. Most of the characters, I didn't know them. I read about them before I knew them.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not gonna listen to you next time.
No, you have to listen to me. Okay, fine. Let me look through the appendix right the fuck now and tell you why.
Okay.
I think I didn't say that you shouldn't look. If I remember correctly, what I said
like,
was...
don't read too deeply.
Yeah, like, what I said was, if you come across somebody and you're like, I don't know who this is, then you can check, but don't go and read it first.
Why not?
Because I didn't want you to hear people's names first.
That's ridiculous.
But it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very ridiculous.
It had, like... Oh, I don't know. Okay. All right. Next time I will be more free in telling you what is what. Okay?
Okay.
If it's if it's actually spoilery, you still have to listen to me though, but I will be more liberal with what I consider spoilers, okay? Or less liberal, or, I'll be better. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Hodor is Old Nan's great-grandson.
Old Nan, old. Like, old Nan. Imagine if, instead of saying old to people, you had to, like, you know how you have to be, like, great, 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 great? Imagine if you had to do that many olds, depending on which generation they were in. You're like,
it had
old,
the
old,
names
old,
of the
Nan.
dragons before we actually learned the names of the dragons. That was spoilers.
Okay.
And it had, like, a bunch of people from Karth. Like, if it says, oh, this person from Karth, then you'd be like, oh, we're going to Karth. Like, I didn't want any of that, okay?
Okay.
Back to Jon. Is he going on over to the Wildling Saddle for real or for fake?
For now, for fake. But I feel like this might become an internal conflict where he's, like, really about
Will
to start.
he ever go back to the Night's Watch?
Yes.
And will he be accepted back into the Night's Watch?
Probably not. But, like, hopefully the way he goes back is, like, yeah, they're, like, isolating him or whatever, but they'll, like, take him in. You know? Like, some people will understand. Like, some people will understand that it was, like, circumstantial and look at all this good he did now type thing.
Yeah. And Stone Snake, is he ever going to make it to any other, like, either the party that was already outraging to the wall anywhere, like, where we'll see him again? Will he get the message out?
Probably not the message, but, like, hopefully he's still alive. That feels like a lost hope at this point. He's probably not alive.
Will Corin see Mormont before Jon sees Mormont? Do you see what the question is? Because it's will Mormont be alive or would Mormont be dead?
Yes, yeah.
I like it.
I'm, like, really hoping that, like, Mormont's alive and eventually Jon gets
John's
to see
gonna see
him.
Mormont before Corin sees Mormont. Cool.
Yes. Poor Mormont.
Why is he poor Mormont?
I don't know, man. He's gonna think Jon betrayed him. I mean, maybe he'll see through it. Maybe he'll think, like, I mean, he'll probably just think, like, oh, they died, you know, because, you know. But, like, I feel like he'll stay alive long enough for sure for it to, like, look like Jon betrayed them and for him to see that or to hear about it.
How will Jon and Rattle Shirt get along?
Probably not well. I feel like Rattle Shirt. Rattle Shirt will be another. What was that dude that we hated at the wall? Alizar Thorne. Yeah, him.
Okay, remember him? So long since we've seen him.
Yeah.
We've got other people to hate now.
Yeah, I wonder if he ever made it back to the wall. But yeah.
Right, because he saw Tyrion, and then Tyrion was like, "Get out of here."
Yeah.
Oh my god, that actually happened in this book.
That's weird.
It was so long ago.
Yeah, damn. I feel like this battle has just been going on forever. That it's like I can't remember anything from before the battle.
The Clash of Kings.
Yeah, like when they just had like the normal trials.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like the fighting started like halfway through book 1, so... Like when Cersei took Ned prisoner, that's when Robb was like, I'm going out to war.
Yeah, but like, I mean like the more recent battles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying the more recent battle started recently? Really? That's what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that the more recent battles started recently, but they feel like they've been going on for so long, even though, like, according to, like, if you look at the size of this book, they've only been, like, you know, a specific portion, but it feels like they've been like the entire book. That's why the stuff that happened earlier in the book before the recent battles feels like, oh, what? That happened?
Long time ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think that makes more sense.
See, that was a lot of words that I didn't want to say.
How will Jon and Ygritte get along?
Oh, I feel like they'll be friends.
Cool. Is Mance going to get to the wall before the wall is prepared for Mance?
I don't think the wall is ever going to be prepared. So, yeah. We do not have nearly enough men to equip, like, most of the posts. Like, we're just here. We're going to do our best.
Do you think it's going to happen in the next book?
I think so.
Okay. Will the wall be able to defend against Mance?
Probably not.
Why does Mance want to attack the wall?
He wants to be king in the south and king in the north.
Okay, so just like territory, right?
I think so, yeah. I don't remember if I'd thought something different previously.
Okay. What were they digging for? Like, even Corin this time reiterates, is like, get in there, find out what they were digging for, if they found it.
Oh, let's say, I don't know, blue glass.
Blue, like some precious metals kind of thing?
I don't know.
Like they were mining?
I don't know, like, are they digging?
Why would they need...
I don't know. Fine. They're digging for dead bodies so they can create a bigger army. But their army is already so big, why do they need to do that? Like, I don't know what they'd be
so they're
looking for.
aligned with the the undead?
The wildlings, yes, I think.
But when Jon killed Ygritte's, like, other people, she was like, burn them or they're gonna come haunt you at night. And she was like, if you kill me, make sure you burn me too, because I don't want to come back. So, like...
Oh, so they don't like them. They're looking for bodies that they can burn so they don't come back.
Actually, that is the best prediction you've made so far. That makes a lot more sense then.
Yeah.
But that would be like a lot of bodies. Like, there's probably bodies.
Okay, let me just think. I don't know what they want though. I don't remember what I thought they wanted.
I think you were just like, it's like a defensive position. Like they're digging trenches. I think that's what you said. But I don't.
Oh, okay.
That might be a conversation I had in my head. I don't know.
They're digging. Let's just go with that guess, because I have no idea what I think
The dead
they
bodies
want.
one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Bran. Are they ever gonna return? Okay. Is anybody ever gonna return to Winterfell? Give me names. Who do you think might return to Winterfell, if at all?
Arya.
Okay. So you think people will return to Winterfell?
Yeah.
That it may be. Do you think it'll be restored, or will they visit it as like, oh, the ruins of our past kind of thing?
I hope that they can restore it. That would be so nice.
Okay, are they going to, or are they not?
They are.
Okay, Winterfell restored. Arya's gonna return. Who else?
Catelyn.
Okay.
The Freys.
You really think so? Why would they return? Like, what do they have in Winterfell?
I don't know. I just feel like they're people that are gonna be annoying and show up.
Okay.
And there's a lot of them, so I feel like...
I thought you were talking about, like, the two Freys that were
I feel like
there. So
any random Frey one day will be back here, which I feel like is a pretty solid prediction with how many of them exist.
All right.
Ned Stark's body.
Okay. Oh, you think it will... Yeah, we haven't heard, because, like, earlier in this book, Catelyn sent it up to Winterfell, but now Winterfell's not there. Will the people, like the Silent Sisters who were bringing it up, still be like, oh, let's just find the crypts, put him in, and go?
Oh, I don't know. Hopefully. But they might also be like, where the fuck are the crypts? Where are the people? What is this place?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so Ned's body. What else? Who else?
Robb, if he doesn't die first.
Okay, but you have to say either he dies or either he return. So wait, no, does he return and then after he dies? Is that what you're saying by if he doesn't die first?
Yeah.
But he's dying for sure?
I think he'll die before the series is over.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, no, he's not. He can't die.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not gonna die. He'll return.
All right. Anybody else?
I think that's it. I don't think Sansa's gonna return.
Not Sansa, not Jon, not Bran, not Rickon.
I don't. Maybe Rickon one day.
Okay. I think that covers the most important people. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What is Bran going to... Where in the north are they going to go? What are they going to find there?
I don't know. Like, I guess they could go to those, like... Because there's literally no one here. Like, there's no one close by. So they gotta go, like, far, as we'd said. But it's like, who lives farther north than the Starks that we can, because...
Well, they think Jon's at the Wall still, so...
Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna go that far.
Okay, so you think, like, not as far north as the Wall, but somewhere in between?
Yeah, maybe, like, find, like, some common folk and, like, vibe with them for a bit.
Okay. Rickon and Osha, where are they gonna go?
Weren't they the ones who kind of had a location they were gonna go? Or they were just like, we'll go
Yeah, they were
east.
heading east. Out east is where, like, White Harbor's in the east, I guess.
They did say, like, along the King's Road or whatever, but, like, I feel like that's just calling to get involved in battle, and we don't want that.
Right, but the King's Road is really long. Like, it runs all the way from the Wall to King's Landing. That's the entire road there.
But still, I feel like this entire area is just fighting affected now. Like, it's just, there's no point in staying. So maybe they'll go, like, more east than south.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I can ask. Now, for next chapters, the name of the next book, drum roll please, is A Storm of Swords.
A Storm of Swords. So more fighting? Bro, can this war be... Okay, so this war is never gonna end, huh? Game of Thrones. We went from thrones to kings to swords.
Let me show you the next book. It's this.
Ooh.
And it's this.
Huh?
It's this together.
Wait, that's one book?
Yep. It's so big that this particular version is split into 2 volumes.
What the fuck? How long is that gonna
I mean, I would say like 5% of each of them is like appendix, like 5%, like that much.
Yeah.
But that's a thick ass book.
Yeah, that's like...
It's the second longest in the series.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
There's like secondary titles under each volume. Like volume 1 is called Steel and Snow, and volume 2 is called Blood and Gold. It doesn't really mean anything because like...
They all have all.
Well, no, because like this is supposed to be one book.
Right.
But they split it into 2 volumes because of like binding things, right?
Okay.
So that doesn't mean much, really.
Okay. Interesting.
It's just like, what are some like fantasy sounding names? Like, what's fantasy steel? What's fantasy snow? Steel and snow. Like, that's just kind of how they came up with that, I think. Either way. So that's the book. Yay. Wow. So next time, everyone, we will be doing a wrap-up episode. So I think this is you can send in your theories and questions, but like you've kind of run out of time. Like, do it right away if you still have some.
Yeah. Like, okay, so our episodes come out on Wednesdays.
We usually record on Saturdays. So if this comes out on Wednesday, you have until Saturday to get to me. But
if you like send it Friday, like, so just send it as
we'll
soon
see.
as you get it. Yeah, we'll see.
And then after that, we will be doing we'll read the Dunk and Egg story, and then we will start on A Storm of Swords. And I will have trouble saying it every single time. So everyone, email us, popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Our Instagram is @popculturesymposium, and please join our Discord for more chat things and stuff.
Great advertisement.
Yeah, right? People have asked me if we're going to cover House of the Dragon. That's the new show coming out right now. That's in this world, like, based on the Targaryens. It's, like, set in the past, right?
Right.
So it's not really, like, spoilery for this series, but it's also, I don't want to, like, deviate from...
Yeah.
You can barely keep track of what's going on in order, right? Like to add like a whole other story on top of that might be a lot.
No.
So we're gonna stick to the books for now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe one day we'll cover it. Who knows?
We'll see where the world brings us. So yeah,
I'm so excited. I'm just gonna say this next book is my favorite book in the series.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of people's favorite book.
Okay, does it go downhill from here?
No,
is that what we're saying?
My second favorite is yet to come. So
okay, interesting.
Like, it's pretty good, but this is like good.
Okay. Do good things happen, or do you just like it when they're all sad? You just like it when they're all sad. I swear to God, if you tell me this is your favorite, most people's favorite book, and I start this book and it's the worst in terms of bloodshed and like true horror, I'm gonna judge all of you severely. There's really no way for you to defend yourself without spoiling it, so just don't. I
can't say anything.
Yeah, you can't. You can't defend yourself.
It's just a really good book.
We'll see. I'll be the judge of that.
And everybody's looking forward to us covering it. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.